Okay, my friends, this is Roger, Mudfossil University, right here, and I think I now have a solution to my problem. And I'm going to go right back to where it started from. Dinosaur State Park, which was owned by state of Connecticut, which I am in the state of Connecticut. I pay taxes, I have an investment in here, and I think they should be looking for reality, and I am going to present it, and I expect it to be accepted, or not accepted, but I expect it to be investigated this time. I originally found my fossils, and I went to Dinosaur State Park, and I know the people there. I had a software development company, and I did all their software. I was there all the time, sitting eating muffins and everything in the back with them, and everything was fine. I found the fossils, and they treated me like a fool. And that was, oh, I don't know, 8, 10 years ago, whatever. So I want them to respond to my stuff. Here's them. This is a big deal to them, is dinosaur tracks. I have human footprints. Not from the recent, this is from what they call the Triassic. This has gray clay, a red bed, and a black cap, and I have all three of them right here. This is the black cap that goes onto the Triassic footprint. This is a new species right down the street from, I'm right down the street from these people, and they refuse to discuss this with me, as everyone does. Everyone. I'm pretty well fed up with it, and so is my goose. My goose is, I had enough of this too. And the goose is, you see the goose's feathers there? See the feathers in the back of his head? I think it's a goose, who knows what it is. You see his neck? You see right in the center of his neck there where it goes down. The lighting's not good. But that's a goose. I have new species. I have literally DNA certified giant human beings. Now, our governor is Ned Lamont. He seems like a nice guy. I am going to contact him and ask him to look into this as well. I'm pretty fed up with being pushed away. Now, if I pay taxes to the state of Connecticut, and they own Dinosaur State Park, and they are making all these claims and just saying, oh, we're one of the biggest this, and we do this, all this stuff, and they were nice people. I have nothing against them. I just want to be heard. And I have been not heard, and this time, I pay taxes, I want to be heard. Okay, my friends, this goes back to 5.5 years ago or so, July 2015, and I had this channel, Mudfossils. I had to get rid of it because it was so much of an attack. And I started Mudfossil University, which I now run, and I have people all over the world now that I am working with, researchers, thousands of them. I have like 97,000 people on my channel now, and I have thousands of responding researchers that are all around the world, extremely interested. Nobody's making any money. I don't want to make any money. I refuse any money. So don't think it's about money for me. It has nothing to do with money. Now, this goes back over 5 years ago. I presented this evidence to literally everybody, to Yale and to everybody, and they just refused to respond. Now, what do you do about that? Here's the evidence now. Let me see. This is this fingertip right here was CAT scanned, and so was the lung. This is a lung, and these were both DNA tested on the DNA test. I'll show you in a minute now. And you know, we took it from, you get up inside there and take it out of the blood supply, and there's the blood supplies coming in on both sides. You're going to see it in the, well, you'll see this up here in a second. Here it goes. Now that's the fingertip I just showing you right there. And these are the pads on the bottom. It's a thumb, I believe. Now, let's see what we got here. All right, all right, I'm going to turn that off because it goes way back. No, let me just stop something here. You see that? And you see that? Those are the tendons that come down in the back of the fingertip. You can't see it well until you go into the CAT scan. But let's see what else we got here. You know, I mean, and you see, remember I said you could take the blood supply out of the little spots in the corners there. These guys were great, Jesse Garant and Associates. We could see inside of everything and check it all out and so forth. And then I had other ones, eroded pieces from this giant hand, and this is the giant hand right here. That's the hand. Now, this is it's a left hand, and that's the buffy, you know, the puffy stuff that runs around your hand there, the bumper-like stuff. And then there's a tendon that runs down, and then that runs off to your thumb. And this skin is what's called grip skin, the silver part. Very, very tough. Now, I've shown all of these things, and I got into all of the, you know, all of the stuff, and I showed, I have knuckles from it, I have all kinds, I have toes. The things in my backyard are just laying out there. And, you know, I'm showing the knuckles and the, like right there, that's the weave that wraps right around a bone ball. That's, you know, and I have all this stuff. It's extremely well documented. And I worked with Gil Headley, who is one of the top anatomists in the world. So anyway, I want to have it seen, and I expect it to be seen. Now, you've seen the specimens here. Well, maybe not all. Well, you didn't see all of them, but that's a lung. That was also DNA certified, tested human. And the fingertip from the giant you saw was human. And we took the blood out of here. There's a red spots in here that are really flush with blood. I mean, the thing is soaked with blood. And I have so many things that blood are running out of them. Well, let me show you one last thing, and then we're going to talk about this DNA test. All right, these are both lungs. Well, this was DNA certified as human. This one just gushed blood everywhere. That's the blood that came out of it. So don't tell me you can't get blood out of rocks. Now, there was something else I want to show you here. Oh, this one here. I made this. This is what they call feldspar. I made that from chicken tissue in less than 6 months. So it's extremely easy to convert this biological tissues into what we see as this stuff here. It's fascia. Fascia is, they say, oh, it's fascia, it's fascia, it's fascia. No, it's not. I mean, it is fascia. They say it's feldspar. It's not feldspar, it's fascia. And that's the lung. And this is what is in this lung here. I mean, this is what this lung is coated with. This is red blood. All the black stuff is the vein blood. The white is the fibers of fascia, and it coats everything there is. That's why they find fascia on virtually every surface, because it's the coating of life. That is a lung right there. You see that? Not only is that a lung, that lung has the fascia, or what they call pleura. You see it? Has eroded off of the red part of the wet, bloody lung. I could put water on there, and you'll see this turn sort of reddish. Let me see if I can get it done. It takes a little while for it to settle in, but I have other ones that could turn red instantaneously. This has been soaked away for a very, very long time. But you see that? You see where, you know, you might be able to see a little red. Let me show you another one that'll go instantly. Well, it has about 100 times before. This one here, you see this? These are tendon, the gnarly spots of the tendons where they lock in, and then there'll be cords going from those. You see, just like that, like that, like that, like that. They're all over the place. Now, there's one that comes up here and goes in here. This is the layer of tissue just below that layer, and this layer of blood feeds all the tissue below. So it's a nice wet, well, it's not wet now, but it's a mat of blood, and it usually turns red really fast because blood hydrates. Let's see if we can see anything here. See that? It just turns red instantaneously. Now, when you look at that in a microscope, you just see it. You can see it absolutely no problem whatsoever. The blood and how it sort of mats everything, and that is what feeds the tissues. I'm not making any of this stuff. And there's a vein and artery right there. You see it? And this is the coating around the outside. I call it the rind, which is your, because some of it's thick, some of it's thin. It depends on what it's coating. And it's the fascia, really. It's the fascia pleura, whatever it is that coats the particular body part we're talking about. You see, look at that thing. You're telling me that's just a rock? And a geologist, oh, it's just all accidental stuff. It just has veins and arteries by accident. It's just gushing blood for no reason whatsoever. I'm just a fool thinking this stuff is biological. That was also certified human DNA. That is the bone at the back of a thumb. I think this is another thumb. That is the fingernail. And this, hold on, is the fingerprints. You see that? Those are the fingerprints. You see those fingerprints right there? Those are fingerprints. Those are sweat pores. These are the actual fingerprints. And this is where it locked into. I had to break this off so I could get into where the blood was. That's where the fingernail hugged right up against there. And then your fingerprints start right away as it leaves that fingernail area. Absolutely flawless. And a DNA certified human. So, I expect someone to get a hold of me. I'm going to put my email, and it's very simple to get a hold of me. It's Roger, R-O-G-E-R, at Mudfossils, with an S.com. And I am going to be opening up my .com site. Again, it was attacked. I had it open 8 years ago. And I've kept it open. I've kept the site. I haven't had it open, but it's there. Hold on one second. Okay, this is the place that did the DNA. This is Helix Biolabs, and this was the discussion I had with them, just following the results. This goes back to August 2015. This is a long time ago. Base pairs normally?
Right, usually 100 to 200 tops, because the DNA is so fragmented because of just the degradation, with all the, the years and, wear and tear and things like that.
Yeah.
But I was able to, locate these primers that were in that paper that this group had success with, and that seemed like the best option. And they, are a mitochondrial DNA primer that will essentially amplify all types of vertebrates. So, not just human, but any kind of vertebrate life form. And so they were sort of a universal type of fit for these samples, because we don't know obviously what the samples consist of. So the sequence that came back, and it was roughly for each of these fragments about 100 base pairs. Matched them up in the database, and they matched with the the human mitochondrial. There's two regions of the mitochondria. One is called the D, like the letter D is in dog, the D loop. And then the other one, I believe, is for cytochrome B gene. The mitochondria has several different genes that it consists of, but these primers were specific for those areas of the mitochondrial genome. So, so I, considering where we, started a couple months ago, that's, those are nice results to have.
Yeah, that's kind of amazing.
The PCR and now the DNA sequencing, so.
Wow, and how refined down is this? I mean, it's in the human genome family, meaning it's not a monkey or a primate. I mean, it's a primate, but how refined into
Right, exactly. Yeah, no, in the database it's showing, for that region of sequence that I obtained for these fragments, that they match up with, 100% identity to, the human mitochondrial genome. Again, the D loop, and I believe the other region was cytochrome B. I'm not 100% sure. I'd have to double check my notes, but I know the one was the D loop region.
Was there a substantial amount of DNA? I mean, was it something that you pretty much certain it wasn't contamination or something? That's my point.
Yeah, I've run the negative controls all along, and I haven't had anything the idea with negative controls is you want those to always be blank, to see nothing in there. And so the negative controls have, not shown any amplification, so which is again what you want. So, confident that what we're seeing is, not any type of contamination from, handling or anything like that. So, the amount of DNA that was in the extractions too was, for ancient DNA, it was relatively substantial. So, I don't think that there was any kind of contamination with anything.
All right, that's enough. And there was no contamination. I took it from deep inside the arterial blood supplies. It was dense. It was blood. That's all there is to it. It's not. There's no big mystery here. Now, and this was not a cheap test. This was not quick. This was not a fluffy thing. Just let's get it done. And it's been ignored. Now, I don't think that's right. I don't think that's right at all. And I don't think this is serving anyone other than the people that are collecting their paycheck every week to tell whatever they're told to say. And this is not in the best interest of the students. And any teacher is literally a fiduciary, which means that the student must put his complete faith and trust in that teacher and agree to whatever that teacher says in order to pass whatever that teacher is teaching. Otherwise, if he disputes them, he's going to be sent out to be a loser in life. I think we need to address these people that are making these determinations as to what other people must believe to be considered intelligent. Because it's not intelligence, it's so far beyond non-intelligence, I can't even put a name to it. It's compliance with, I just can't even put a name to it. Trust me, it's not what I'm going to follow, I can guarantee you that. Now, I think 5.5 years of presenting this evidence I just showed you. Now, if you think this evidence is silly, and you think the DNA evidence is silly, and you think that the CAT scans are silly, and you think the anatomist is silly, and you think the specimens are silly, and you think the chemistry is silly, then I think you're silly. Because if you won't look at it, and that's what they already have made the determination, oh, you must have contaminated, you must have done this, it couldn't be that, and then they're gone. And I'm not talking about just your average guy on the street, because they do that, but I'm talking about Yale, I'm talking about Harvard, I'm talking about every single major university has refused to engage. And if you are one of those that said, oh, I never refused to engage, engage. Roger, R-O-G-E-R, at Mudfossils, with an S, all one word, .com. All right, it's time to have this evidence examined, a discussion. That's all I ask, is a rational, calm discussion of what is seen. The materials, the anatomy, the biology, the chemistry, the CAT scans, the DNA. Examine it. If it's all crazy stuff, well, I'll just go on my way. All right? This time, I think I have a case to be made here. I pay taxes. Dinosaur State Park is part of the state of Connecticut. I expect some response. And if they can provide evidence that I'm wrong, so be it. And if I can provide evidence that I'm right, which I believe I have, so be that. Okay, this is Seeker. They have 4.5 million subscribers. They finally realized that the things that I've been saying are correct. Fossil hunting entering a new era. The concretions, and this is just 2 days ago, well, yesterday. Concretions, they're breaking them open. Listen to what he has to say. All right, listen.
Nondescript looking concretions, take my rock hammer and just crack it open. And there, looking back at me, was a complete mammal skull. And it was just an amazing moment. I called Ian over, we started laughing and high-fiving and celebrating.
All of a sudden, we went from basically not seeing any fossils to seeing fossils all over the place.
All right, that's what happened with the mud fossils. So they still don't understand. They're still looking for bones. That's what they think these concretions are. If they looked at the concretion correctly, in most of the cases, they're going to find that it's really the complete body part, and they're cracking it open to see if they can find any bones inside. I'm not kidding you. I expect to have my stuff examined. I have the evidence. I have DNA, I have CAT scans, I have anatomists, I have specimens, I have the chemistry. I recreated the process. I don't know what else I can do. I don't know what else I can do. So I am a taxpayer. I expect to be heard. Thank you. Have a sterling day.